Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and today we'll be focusing on the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, which took place in the past week, and more specifically on Friday, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had a tour to be checking up on the latest in terms of developments and progress in the field of infrastructure in downtown Cairo, in Al Hadara Axis, in Nasr City, in East Cairo in general, as we will be focusing tonight on that field, the renovation of Old Cairo and the building and the construction of new cities simultaneously at the same time. More than 15 or 20 cities at the same time taking place or being carried out by the construction workers according to the specific timetables and the highest standards, the highest global standards, and adhering with the precautionary measures to be preventing the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. As I said, we will be focusing on the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Friday and today. On Sunday, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held talks with the visiting African Union Commission Chief Moussa Faki in Cairo on Sunday, during which they discussed a number of political issues in the African continent and means to settle the current disputes through the diplomatic means, including crises in the Horn of Africa and Libya. This, as we can see, the main top story for tonight, as President al-Sisi reiterated that Egypt would exert the utmost efforts to support the African nations and consolidate the efforts for development and reconstruction. In this respect, the President reaffirmed that the path of development in Africa should begin with fixing stability and establishing an integrated infrastructure which would be a cornerstone of development for the African nations. This development, he said, would link among the geographic regions of the continent and in turn achieve the required target of the economic integration and the regional merge of the continent. For his part, the African Union official hailed the Egyptian pivotal role to consolidate developmental efforts in the continent, as well as retaining the security and political stability, confirming that the bloc depends mainly on such a role under the wise leadership of President al-Sisi. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said that the meeting also tackled the ongoing trilateral negotiations among Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia over the latter's dam under the auspices of the African Union. President al-Sisi confirmed anew the Egyptian constant position, which calls on forming a binding legal framework among all the concerned sides that tackles the Egyptian worries and concerns regarding filling and operating the dam, and rejects any procedure that hurts the Egyptian rights of the Nile River water. Faki praised the Egyptian efforts to resolve the issue, stressing the significance of continuing coordination to reach a just and the balanced agreement among the three countries. The meeting took place ahead of the 34th African Union Summit, which will be held on the 6th and the 7th of February, and was attended by the Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, who earlier held talks with Faki to review final preparations for the summit. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ahmed Hafez said that the meeting had taken place with the framework of the continuous coordination between the two sides and preparations for the upcoming summit. This was the main top story for tonight involving President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as I said in the beginning, will be the main focus for tonight, but in terms and in the field of construction, development, building infrastructure in the country, as the President had a tour on Friday in different parts of Cairo to be renovating the old neighborhoods and to be checking up on the development and the progress of building new parts of the country. We'll be having more information in the upcoming report.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inspected on Friday a number of road projects in Old Cairo as well as other projects being implemented in East Cairo. President al-Sisi inspected a network of bridges that has been constructed to link Old Cairo's civilization access area with the main roads of Cairo. This comes as part of a comprehensive plan to develop the historic Ain al-Sira area and the vicinity of the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Old Cairo. The President also inspected development work in the vicinity of Old Cairo's Sayyida Aisha district after the removal of slums that had obliterated features of the historic area. This heritage includes Fustat area, Cairo Citadel, the religious complex, and historic mosques. The President said that the dwellers of these areas were moved to new cities that have been constructed to provide decent, safe, and appropriate housing units for slum residents where social services are being secured. The President's tour included road projects being implemented in the districts of Nasr City, Heliopolis, and Ostrad in East Cairo.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. That was a report about the inspection tour of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Friday. An inspection tour that we as the Egyptian people got used to it, and to be talking more and focusing more about the developments that took place during this tour and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's vision and efforts to be renovating the old neighborhoods of Egypt, and more specifically of Cairo, and building new cities At the same time, more than 20 new cities being built at the same time. I'm honored to be having with me in the studio tonight Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the professor of construction and urban planning at Al Galila University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Ahmed. Very nice to have you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Doctor, speaking first about the visit or the tour, the inspection tour of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Friday, but this time at Al Hadarat Axis, a very important part of Cairo. How did you see it, and how did you see the development of the infrastructure there?
The civilization axis and that contains the museum and the other significant parts of Cairo.
Yes.
I think these visits by President Sisi, we are now used to it. Every week there is a visit to projects under construction and monitoring the progress, and that makes things really go faster. This is one of the significant areas of Cairo. Ain al-Sira is an area that started to appear in the 1926.
Yes.
But actually, geologically, it's an older than that, and it is it's like the Helwan waters that people started to feel that it's healing the especially the dermatological diseases and the skin diseases.
Yes.
And this area now it was, we all remember a few years ago it was very deteriorated area, very polluted, and the lake was in a very bad situation. Today the lake is renovated, and many activities are built around it, and it is 63 fit dams, almost 26 of them are green areas, and it contains the museum, and it will have several activities and restaurants and food outlets and recreational activities in the heart of Old Cairo. It is also linked to the significant aqueduct, that the historical aqueduct that used to bring the water from the Nile all the way to the citadel. And it is now also being remodeled and renovated, and all the informal housing around it was removed, and the leather workshops now are in Rubaiki area. More than 100 shops were moved there, and families were relocated in new housing. And this area will be a continuation from the civilization museum access all the way to the Nile and the Nile meter in Rauda area. And this is also linked to Sayyida Aisha Square that is being now remodeled and renovated, and the bridge will be removed and remodeled, and a new bridge will be built to bypass this old deteriorated bridge, and this will be linked all the way through another access to Al Khalifa Square, where the Sultan Hassan and the Rifai Mosque are located, and this will be another access of development, and all the informal and deteriorated areas around the citadel will be removed and remodeled. Of course, keeping all the historical significant buildings, but we are talking about all these shanty towns and deteriorated areas around it. So there are many areas. Of course, that is linked to the Khedivi Cairo.
Yes.
Remodeling of the old Cairo and the Tahrir Square just across from here, linked to Maspero project just across the street, and in the future Al Hussein Square will also be remodeled and developed. There is work everywhere, and this is a unique time in the history of Egypt that we do all this. And as Gamal Hamdan said in his book, the Shakhsiyat Masr, that to build is to make a nation. You cannot make a nation, a country, without construction and building. That's why we had this stagnation for 30 or 40 years. Yes, there was some work being done, but not to the level of making a nation and the country compete with the global cities and the new urban environments that are coming up quickly around us.
Yes.
I think we are witnessing a historical moment now in our history of development and projects and amount of production. There is also speed.
Yes.
In producing these projects and finishing them.
Yes, before focusing on each detail of this tour, as we can see on the screen now, preserving the identity and the character of those neighborhoods, because Professor Ivo always told me that every new city has an identity. It has a character of itself, like the new administrative capital, for example, New Mansoura, New Alamein. All those new cities, they have their own characters and identities. But how do you see the progress of development at the older neighborhoods, as you've mentioned, and at the same time, we need to be preserving the identity and the character of those places for touristic reasons, for historic reasons?
Yeah, when we deal with historical areas and old cities, we of course have layers of history that contain different types of buildings, significant in their construction, significant in their time, since the ancient Egyptians, the Coptic, the Islamic, the modern architecture. We have to deal very sensitively with these issues and preserve what's worth preserving and build new that complement these historical buildings.
Yes.
And all the buildings that are made in these locations are following the character of the Islamic, ancient Egyptian, modern, classical architecture in the Khedive Cairo. So we have different types of architecture. When we build new cities, we have to think about the global picture, and that we have cities in rural areas. We have cities on coastal areas. We have cities in deserts. We have cities in urban areas. Each one has its unique characteristics. When you look at Galala city, you see the city on the mountain, different levels, different colors and materials, and then the construction and environmental solutions. When you build on the coastal areas, you also think about the touristic attraction, the relationship with the sea, and all the environmental issues that are related to it. If it's the amount of rain, precipitation, temperature, winds, the types of winds, and so forth. So also each city must have a unique identity that strengthens the sense of belonging. You are creating identity now, and this is normal. We should not keep repeating the past. We also have the right to create a present and a future ourselves. So having the new capital has a role. It has architecture that reflects its role, its image of government, of the symmetry, the balance, the axes, the height, the size of buildings. This is all part of reflecting this image. When you look at Galala, for example, you see the different stages, different buildings on the mountain, and the coastal area where you have the recreation, that type of architecture. When you look at Alamein, also it's taking concepts from Alexandria,
On the north
Greek
coast
town,
yes.
the coastal construction and so
Yes.
forth. So this is now, and also the architecture of the buildings themselves, the character, the colors, the al-ablaq and the horizontal lines, all these reflect identity and architecture of different places. As we respect the old, we also have the right to create the present and the future. And this is normal life.
We need to build on it and have our own legacy
Yes.
being reflected in the identities of those new cities and those new villages. Speaking
Exactly.
of Ain Asira,
Yes.
how do you see the area during those construction works and after? How do you see the vision for it after being developed?
The vision for it is like when you think about Al-Azhar Park. Al-Azhar Park, we all remember it was a dump site where people used to throw garbage there, and then it was developed into this beautiful park where people go and enjoy the weekends and Sham al-Nasim and all the activities that are happening there, and the beautiful landscape and beautiful restaurants there. Also, this part of Ain al-Sira with its development now, it has the jewel, which is the museum of civilization there, and
the lake in front of it.
The lake, of course, itself. The lake was in a very bad situation, and now it's cleaned, and all the informal activities around it were removed, and the water. There are many fountains that are built inside the lake in order to irrigate, to air the water and refresh it.
Yes.
And it will have many restaurants around. Also, by the way, the beautiful fountain of the Nile is now working again.
For the first time in 41 years.
40 years.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place, Amr.
We used to see it in old films and old video clips.
Yes, in Arus Nil, and Amr Diab was making his video in front of it a few weeks ago. We have beautiful places in Cairo, and there is still a lot to do.
How do you see this momentum in different fields all happening at the same time under the tenure of President Al-Sisi?
Well, it's
It is all happening so quickly for us.
Everything is happening so quickly, and if you look at the amount of achievements, it's amazing. Of course, the first thing we notice, and we understand now why it was important to start with the network of roads and bridges all over Egypt, connecting the different parts. This was the first stage to go into the more detailed or more smaller scales of development.
It's the access point for us.
You cannot do development if you cannot reach the place you are going.
And easily and quickly.
Exactly. And every country started with roads. China, Roman Empire, Pharaonic Egyptians, every civilization, the American...
and even China has a new plan in the Silk Road, or
the Silk
the
Road
Belt
and the Silk
Road.
Belt, yes. Together, this will also benefit Egypt, because the Silk Belt is running through the Suez Canal.
Yes.
And so when you look at the projects, the new cities, the fourth generation of cities that we are witnessing, the network of roads and bridges, 7,000 kilometers of roads, and 5,000 already finished, and 2,000 under construction. It changed the quality of transportation in Egypt up 90 points ranking.
Yes.
We also have new ports for ships. We have the Bernice and Mahgoub new ports that are being constructed, in addition to Abu Qir port that is being, and also we have dry ports. And it's in that point, it's very important also to consider what other people around us are doing. Last month, Saudi Arabia announced the construction of a huge development just across the sea from Sharm el-Sheikh. It's called the Line City in the area of Neom. This will be $500 billion investment in that spot. It's a linear city that is 10 miles long, and it has and it's pointing towards Sharm el-Sheikh. So, as we said last time, making a bridge or a tunnel at that point, linking this line with the crescent of Sharm el-Sheikh, Nuweiba, Dahab, I think this will be a significant part of world development, not only in Egypt. Agriculture, when we see that there are 100,000 agriculture sobas or greenhouses. This is equivalent to 1 million fiddans immediately. And also the development of new agriculture lands in Sinai, in Toshka, in Hammam. These are all new. And also important is the development or the renovation of the water canals and to protect the water from being dispersed into the land. And this is another high dam, actually. What we are doing in these canals, you are providing more water, you are preserving the water, you are, the water is now reaching farther lands than before. Housing, finished 1 million and working on 1 million, and there are directions from President Sita to start another third million of units. And the construction of the alternative housing, which is to have decent and safe life for people instead of these deteriorated and dangerous areas they used to live in. Water and sewage systems. From 20 million meters per day, we are now 30.7. So almost 30% up. You needed to do this before you go into the big challenge, which is now starting. Traffic, the railroads, the bus systems, the electric trains and the monorail that will link the east and west. Electricity. Now we have access, extra electricity.
We used to have power outages.
Exactly.
Before that.
No power outage. We can now export electricity and make money out of it. Higher education. Cannot tell more about it. Now there is a university in every governmental university. The last one will be in the Red Sea governorate. There are many state universities, private universities, 25 new government and state and private universities, 85,000 classrooms for under pre-university education. Health, of course, the challenge of the corona, how the government is dealing with it, and the 100 million health initiative, the emergency surgeries lists finished, the women health, the health insurance that is starting in the virus C. We are
in Egypt and in Africa.
Exactly. for fish industry and the new
Port Said, Al-Fayruz.
Ghalioun, and now last week started the Al-Fayruz. So we have a lot of work in every direction, and the big challenge is now starting, the Egyptian village. And this is actually the project that everything that happened so far was a preparation to start in this chronic and problem that we didn't know what to do with it.
More than 1,500
we
villages?
have 4,584 villages in that host 58 million Egyptians.
More than half of the population.
Of course, and this is the heart of Egypt. This is the real Egypt. This is where Egyptians started in
the origins.
We all have origins in villages, and this is what we are proud of. But we have to deal with this with a holistic vision. We have the government is putting 515 billion pounds for this project over the coming 3 years. And this is not only renovating buildings, it's everything. Roads, health facilities, schools, sewage system. This is I have did research on the Egyptian village, and it's a beautiful place, but it's not what you see in movies anymore. Most of the villages, the land was transformed into construction. It's very similar to the informal housing that you see around Cairo. So the water canals and are not used anymore. So they became the garbage dump for all the village. So the smell and the pollution, it's unbelievable. And people throw dead animals in them. Very bad deteriorated condition. So actually this is the main project, the main challenge of this country is to upgrade the villages, these 4,584 villages. We cannot do this, of course, all at
the same time, or in the same period.
The vision is to have, the vision started with looking at poorest villages. But so you'll tackle problems here and here and here and here. Now the vision is to address one center. So you address Al-Markaz and its villages, and then move to another Markaz and its villages. And instead of taking one from here and one from there, no work can be done this way, because you need to provide electricity, gas, to where it can be provided, develop or construct sewage system. You need to improve the quality of social services, educational services, health services, everything. And also the buildings that people use. So
all of these achievements are under the tenure of President Al-Sisi in a very short space of time, 6 or 7 years. President Al-Sisi also said that this is not a luxury. This is a way for development, for progress, and for gaining investment as well. How do you see this statement?
Yes, every pound you spend today is 10 pounds in the future. So what you are spending now is actually an investment in your children's future. And it's an investment in the future of the country. And as they say, make it and they will come. People will not come to Egypt to invest if there is nothing to do here. You want to bring investments, you want to bring businesses, you want to bring people. You have to provide the appropriate infrastructure, appropriate facilities, appropriate opportunities. Of course, the laws and the regulations and all that should also facilitate the investments, and also the interior investment of the Egyptians. We need also to stop thinking about the banks as the main type of investment, to go to a bank, to the bank and get some certificates and sleep on it. This should be changed. We need there should be opportunities of stocks in these projects. The villages renovation. This can be a project that people invest in it. The roads. This can be a stock that people invest in it, and people will be more encouraged to invest in projects that are run by the government than non-supported.
There is bigger trust.
Of course, there is trust, and now
like the new
people
Suez Canal.
see how is it going. Okay, so no, but the Suez Canal, it was also certificates.
But
no,
there was
we wanted
trust.
stocks.
We did see the trust between the people and the government.
Yes, we want, you know, like in the past, we had these stocks in companies, and we want this. You know, in America, no one puts money in bank. Banks, they don't give interest. If you put money in bank, you
or
lose
negatively.
it.
Yes.
But they make portfolios of stocks and they keep changing it and improving it. So actually, I think we need to change this mentality of put your money in the bank. It's the safest thing. Certificate. Now, these are opportunities for public investment. People are eager to find other opportunities. The banks are reducing the percentage every week or month now.
Yes.
So and people want to have some safe investment, and I think this is going to be a huge opportunity to change the economy as well as the construction industry.
Yes, and we will be focusing on the investment, the economy, and the infrastructure of Egypt following this report. So let's see it.
Work is underway on the comprehensive development project of the historic Ain el-Sira Lake that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was briefed on earlier this week. President el-Sisi urged the acceleration of the 265,000 square meters development project of Ain el-Sira Lake, in addition to landscaping works in compliance with first-rate international standards. Services and facilities are underway to renovate the Ain el-Sira area, including restaurants, public bathrooms, parks, in addition to potable water, drainage, irrigation, and electricity networks. Upon completion, Ain el-Sira Lake Development Project will change the face of Old Cairo, especially after the integration of the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, in a bid to provide tourists and visitors with the important components of their tourism experience by offering an array of food and beverage, recreation and entertainment and travel services. In 2019, Antiquities and Tourism Minister Khaled Al-Anani had unveiled that Phase 2 of NMEC in Fustat, South Cairo is 95% complete, while 96% of the third phase is done, including 3 main exhibition halls covering a total surface area of 6,290 square meters, as highlighted in a previous statement, spanning 135,000 square meters across the ancient city. And MEC overlooks Ain el-Sira Lake and is in close proximity to Old Cairo's multi-religious complex, which consists of the Hanging Church, Amr ibn al-As Mosque, and Ben Ezra Synagogue, or the Jewish Temple.
Welcome back. Still watching the daily debate. Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, as we did see in the report and the inspection tours that we have seen in the past weeks, that the same place has everything: tourism, infrastructure, a good place to live, a good place to be visiting once in a while. It is there seems to be a certain trend or a vision for the political leadership to be making every place in Egypt easy to go to, accessible, to be attractive for everyone as an Egyptian or as a tourist, as we did see in the past report. Fountains everywhere, the lake, the National Museum of Egyptian civilization, all at the same place. And we have the same plan for the Grand Egyptian Museum as well. How do you see the same vision?
Yeah, this is what we call a cyclical economy now. You cannot just depend on one direction when you make your investments, or you need to think about the sustainability of the investment in terms of reusing existing assets that you have and producing new activities and opportunities for people to invest in. You have culture in the museum. You have entertainment in the fountains and green areas that anyone can go and enjoy. You have restaurants. Food industry is extremely important in this aspect. You have many activities that are going on.
Yes.
And Cairo was very poor in having these kinds of attractions. You need to provide different attractions in
and even for tourists, they had to choose either to go to the pyramids or go to Sharm el-Sheikh or go to Luxor and Aswan. But now even Sharm el-Sheikh, it has a museum.
It has
different places. They have new museums with attractive
you know that tourists are very smart.
Yes.
Before they come, they get the maps, they go to the websites, they go to the travel books, and they read and they highlight the spots.
They are planning a trip.
Of course. When I go to Barcelona or Paris or London, I plan my days, 5 days or 4 days. I want to visit this and this and this. This is historical, this is cultural, this is entertainment, this is food outlets. People love to try the traditional and local food. And this is an attraction by itself. You know, street food is one of the major attractions in tourism. So they plan ahead and they put the budget for everything. So you need a city with rich opportunities for tourism, for attractions, for not only for foreign tourists, but also for the people.
Yes.
You still have the Nile, Mamsha Ahl Masr. This is also becoming a new attraction. There is, of course, the debatable Cairo Eye that is people are still debating on its location in Zamalek, as it will create traffic there. There are many opportunities. We are still in the beginning. All what has been done so far was the start of the new Egypt that we all deserve to have and live and want for our children, not only for us. So all what we are doing now is not for us. We are leaving soon, but our children will have a country that they are proud of, that they have
they belong
belonging,
to. Yes.
And the sense of belonging. This was a problem for many years. Yes, we are all Egyptians, but many Egyptians did not have this drive of making or feeling that this is our own. This is a country. This is our country. We are proud of it. We are proud of what's being achieved and so forth. This part, of course, will become a major element in how people, when they make it by their hands, they feel they belong to it.
And we can feel that, as you've mentioned before, Professor, that we can be competing as cities with any city all around the world.
Yes, we cannot. We don't live alone anymore. We are in the world is like a small village. Yeah, we are all
even
connected.
The Cairo Eye, you can see it in London. You can see it, I think, in Dubai.
Yes, it is everywhere.
So you have the plan to be having everything outside of Egypt inside of it now.
Yes, it can be done. The location is something relative. We can talk about it, But as an attraction, it's very nice. When you go to London, you go to the London Eye, and you enjoy the view of the city. When you go to Paris, you go to Eiffel, and you see the whole city from the top. This is an attraction that many cities have now. The location is debatable, of course, but yes, we can have. Our Cairo is a city that has history, that has potentials, it has economy, it has businesses, it has culture, it has everything. While we are making all these new cities around and the new capital, and still Cairo is Cairo, and will never go away. And this is where everything starts and ends.
Yes, Egypt is where everything starts and ends. How do you see the start of new investments in the future as a potential investor looking at the things from the outside, that those achievements are taking place in different fields, in infrastructure, in building new cities, building new villages, renovating the older cities and renovating the older villages, and projects at everything possible here in Egypt. How do you see the mentality of the potential investor looking to Egypt?
I think the investment opportunities are now unlimited for Egyptians and non-Egyptians. For Egyptians, I think all that work that is going to start in the villages needs manpower, needs materials, needs production, factories. You will need doors and windows and electric cables. You will need lamps. You will need everything. So this is an opportunity to start small and medium-sized industries and businesses, not only large factories, and also to organize workforces for taking certain jobs and work. I think in the construction, this is going to be an excellent opportunity. Also in investment in education, in healthcare, in commerce. This is also open for everyone. Small and medium and large opportunities. The Suez Canal economic zone and the new cities economic zones, all this is internationally recognized as an important opportunity, especially with the Silk Belt going through the Suez Canal. People are taking this moment for opportunities, for investment, and what they do now is not to get return tomorrow. No, they want return after tomorrow, because they know that the future is coming. And I think we have learned a lesson, a very important lesson, that don't just solve immediate problems. This proved to be wrong. You need to look at the future and what might be the problem in the future and start to solve it today. We also have open opportunities. We have rural areas, we have urban areas, but Egypt is also desert. We have large areas of desert that we can work on for new opportunities, new communities, settlements in the desert that do not depend on agriculture. They depend on high-tech industries like the Silicon Valley in America. You need to have these conglomerations of these young computer geeks that exist all over Egypt. Wherever you go, you find a little kid like this. He can do marvelous things with computers.
Endless opportunities here in Egypt in different fields. Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the professor of construction and urban planning at Al Galala University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thank you, Ahmed, very much for having me. Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.